Hello again, everyone. I just wanted to make this video about this dream that I had a couple weeks ago. I had it on July 7th, 2017. So 7/7/17. It's right there. So it's a pretty interesting number, to say the least. But yeah, this is while I was in Japan on vacation with my family. Like I mentioned in my last video. So I'll just get right into it. So I wrote it down here, and I'll just go over it. So it says, I had many clear dreams. The dreams started with me running into old military workers. So I was walking around, and I ran into some old guys that I knew in the military. They used to be in the military too at that time. I don't know if they are anymore, but I ran into them, and this was a while ago, years ago, and we were a little surprised. We were all a little surprised, but not too surprised, and we were happy. We were talking about our walk and how difficult it was. We're talking about our walk with the Lord and how hard it was and how tough it was. So we're just trying to encourage each other and everything, which everybody should be doing right now. Um, but so I thought that was kind of interesting. That's how the dream started. That I was just um, talking with these guys that I knew at some point, and we're trying to encourage each other on our walk. Um, then I went to a training area for flooded ships. I saw sailors training underwater and swimming underwater in it was very clear water. Um, I was in a so that was the water area, but it was the training area, and I know that had something to do with the USS Fitzgerald uh, that crashed in Japan, and there were some sailors that was lost there. They drowned. So that had something to do with that. So they were training for that very reason. Um, then there was something that happened, but I'll go into that later. Uh, so then after that, the next scene was I was in a large area with many people at a basketball court, which is kind of strange. With many courts there and many people, there were false prophets and people leading others astray. So that was very interesting, very weird. But it was a lot of false prophets in these basketball courts. It was just these guys, and I could just tell that they were just basically doing these miracles and just fooling the crowd and everything, fooling all these many people. Um, they were performing spiritual feats to fool the people. Uh, so they were. It was kind of weird, They were like just there, quote unquote, preaching and telling people this is the way, that's the way, and everybody was listening to them. They were making people kind of like float and like glow and different things. I don't know. They had like these strange powers and stuff. So it was very strange. I know it talks about in Revelation in the last days of how there'll be these Antichrist or one of them that'll be deceiving people, and they'll be having they'll be doing miraculous signs and things like that. But yeah, so this is probably these just could have been false prophets as well, just kind of fooling everybody. That could be actually going on today, false prophecy. And so I got the verse from Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 21. Says here, I did not send these prophets, yet they have run with their message. I did not speak to them, yet they prophesied. So Jeremiah got that message from the Lord about all these false prophets when he was trying to prophesy, and he was saying a lot of things that they did not want to hear. The kingdom that they want to hear what he had to say, because it was kind of negative. So these false prophets were saying all this positive stuff, and the Lord was saying that he didn't even send these guys. They were totally false prophets, and they were lying prophets. So just be aware of that false prophecy going on today, and definitely probably going to get worse. Well, I know it will get worse for sure. Then someone appeared and told me that he wanted me to be with him again, that I could tell he was evil. So just this guy just kind of popped up out of nowhere. Then he revealed himself to be a monster after I refused his offers. So he basically transformed into like this creature, of a half creature, half human. And he tried to grab my arm because I refused to follow him, to go with him, because he said he wanted me to return to him and be with him again. He tried to grab me and I ran away, but fell over a hedge, and I believe that it was like a bush, a hedge. I believe that was a hedge of protection by the Lord. And I fell down to a lower level that had light down there. So I kind of escaped the area that the guy was at through this over this hedge of protection. But it was the enemy. It was just basically the enemy. I felt it was the enemy, and he was trying to get me to go back to, my former ways. And he said he wanted me back, and he actually changed it to a creature. He was trying to grab my arm after I was refusing to go back with him or go back to him. So the enemy is definitely out there trying to deceive people through multiple ways. So be very careful with that in your walk. If you're a Christian, just be sure to be careful with that. If you're already a follower of the Lord. And then, like I was saying before, here it says, before the training, I saw a priest that looked like a famous actor who had on a purple robe. So when I was leaving the training area before I got to the basketball course area, I saw that. Saw this priest. He was a Catholic priest, and he was dressed in a long purple robe, and he was just standing there behind a pulpit, behind a podium, and he looked like a famous actor. It was basically the actor that plays Iron Man. And in front of him was a podium with some kind of a offering or communion, but the liquid looked dark and very viscous and was about to drip. It did not look friendly, and I got a bad feeling about it before moving on. So this liquid was very dark. It looked like kind of blood, and it was about to drip. So I don't really know what that vision was about. I think it was about deception too, and it had something to do with the Catholic Church. So I don't know. A lot of people say they got something planned, and it definitely didn't look good. So that's all I have for now. I'm gonna have another video about the entertainment industry coming up here soon. But I just wanted to give that dream about that. I know time is short. I know a lot of people are saying the same things. Just keep your faith. If you're a believer, if you're not a believer, come to the Lord and be saved. Ask the Lord into your life and ask Him to forgive you of your sins. We don't have much time. I mean, the enemy is working overtime, trying to deceive people, trying to get people to go back into their old ways. If you're a Christian, he wants you to backslide. If you're not a believer, he wants you to stay away from the faith. Like, definitely the activity is just increasing, and the enemy definitely knows it. I know a lot of people out there are starting to put out specific dates and things. In particular, this September 23rd date of this year. People think that could be the rapture, and it does kind of sound a lot like definitely what Revelation is talking about, with the Virgin and the 10 stars and the moon and the sun. So just look into it. There's plenty of videos about it. Whether that's the case or not, praise the Lord if it is. Hopefully we can keep his commandments, keep his commands, and be saved, and just be ready. You know, be ready for his return. Um, so just keep that in mind. And yeah, I hope that was sort of encouraging and just something to think about as far as these end times, these end days, these last days. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.